Hello, and welcome to the STEM.LD Leader Orientation Training Series. This series is 2 sessions long, and together they are designed to help you understand your role in supporting STEM at your school and empower you with tools to support your teachers. In this first session, we'll learn about the importance of having a vision for STEM at your school and begin developing one. When you leave this session, you should have a clear understanding of what STEM is, some ideas about STEM opportunities that you want to provide to your students, and a plan for how you will communicate this vision to key stakeholders. This session is designed to take approximately 90 minutes to complete. Over the course of the session, I'll prompt you to pause the video to engage with resources through reflection and practice. I'll give you clues for approximately how much time to spend on each activity, though feel free to move at your own pace and slow down and take as much time as you need to complete the activity before moving on. In today's session, there will be multiple opportunities for you to engage with the content of this recording. For that reason, you will need access to a place to take notes and a writing utensil. You will also need to be able to access some documents electronically. We'll be using common symbols in this training and the next to clarify how to engage with the session activities. When you see this orange folder symbol, you will need to pause the video and open the STEM.LD resource folder and access a document. When you see the blue light bulb symbol, you'll pause the video for independent written reflection. And when you see the green pencil symbol, you'll pause the video for practice. At the very end of each session, there will be a short survey that you will need to complete to record your attendance. For this session, you will need to open the Google Drive folder for Session 1, Developing a Vision for STEM. To open this folder, you can either type this web address into a browser or use the QR code on the slide. Pause the video now to open the folder. Resume this video once you have opened the folder. Before we dive into the heart of this session, let's take a few minutes to review how we got here today. This Leader Training Series is part of the STEM.LD grant that the Niswonger Foundation was awarded in 2021. The STEM.LD project is a region-wide initiative focused on developing students' interest in STEM careers by offering opportunities for teacher professional development, out-of-school time activities for students, and access to advanced coursework. You can see on the map on the slide the 16 school systems that are participating in the STEM.LD project across Northeast Tennessee. As part of this project, your school will have the opportunity to partner at no cost with one or more of a dozen STEM-focused organizations that are shown here on the slide. In this session, we will not be exploring these partnership options, but we encourage you to reach out to the Niswonger Foundation if you have questions about your partnerships. Let's also look at a timeline to put this training into context. The Niswonger Foundation began working on the STEM.LD project in January of 2021. At the beginning of the grant, all schools who volunteered to participate were placed in a lottery and then randomly assigned to one of 4 cohorts. Each year, a group of schools has joined in the spring. We've now reached the final cohort of schools for this last full year of support. If you're completing this training, it's likely that your school was selected for cohort 4. Or perhaps your school is a member of an earlier cohort, but you are new to your role and you are just completing these trainings now. This training is just one small part of the opportunities that you will have access to during your time in the STEM.LD project. Other supports include the partnerships that were previously mentioned for school year support and summer programming, including the STEM.LD Summer Institute. As we've said, this is the first of 2 sessions that comprise the Leader Orientation Training sessions. Both are designed to take 90 minutes. In the following session, you will build on the knowledge built here to learn more about how you can support your teachers in delivering strong STEM instruction in their classrooms. Turning our focus back to this training, let's review the goals for this session. By the end of this session, you will understand the role of schools in preparing students to access STEM pathways, and be able to name current strengths and identify future opportunities to provide students at your school with access to STEM pathways. Here's how we will use our time in this session. We'll spend the first portion of our agenda exploring what we mean when we say STEM and why that matters for students. In the second half, we'll work on beginning to craft your vision for STEM. Let's dive in now. We'll start with a quick independent reflection. You've no doubt heard the term STEM before. We'd like you to take 2 minutes to reflect on what comes to mind when you hear the term STEM. Pause the video and set a timer. Jot down your ideas. When 2 minutes is up, resume the video. Here's a word cloud we've generated with the responses from this question when we've done this training before. Take a look at your reflection. Do you see your ideas reflected here as well? One important thing to note is that when we've asked folks to reflect on this question in the past, we frequently find that educators generate a list of the things that could fall under the STEM umbrella, like computer science, biology, coding, etc. For today, we'd like you to consider what STEM means when we think about the components collectively rather than as separate parts of an acronym. We'll now watch a short video to help us understand the interconnected nature of STEM.
What is STEM? It's the acronym for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, the disciplines that are vital for a thriving economy and a safe and healthy society. In kindergarten through 12th grade in the United States, most STEM teaching and learning focuses on science or mathematics. Comparatively little attention has been paid to the T, the products and systems that meet human needs, and E, the creative process used to design these things. And, for the most part, the 4 subjects have been taught in isolation. But new reform efforts, like the Next Generation Science Standards, are placing more emphasis on the connections between and among the STEM disciplines. To understand how this trend might affect teaching and learning in the future, we need to take a closer look at integrated STEM education, not just the individual subjects that make up the acronym. After all, in the real world, science relies on technology, mathematics, and engineering. And engineering depends on findings from science, the application of mathematics, and the use of technological tools. Imagine if K-12 students were taught in ways that highlighted these connections. Would they learn more and more deeply? Might they see STEM disciplines as more relevant to their lives? Could it lead more of them to pursue STEM courses and careers? The answers to these questions depend in part on how integrated STEM education is implemented in schools and in out-of-school settings. Research suggests that implementation has to balance learning in the individual STEM subjects with more connected ways of learning. In addition, because it can be hard for students to make these connections themselves, teachers will need to make the connections explicit. Inside the classroom, some teachers may use instructional approaches like problem-based learning or engineering design, which are special kinds of problem solving, to introduce integrated STEM education to their students. Outside the classroom, students are being exposed to STEM connections in museums and science centers through after-school experiences like some TV shows and STEM-focused robotics competitions, and in internships.
Now let's read this definition of STEM from the National Science Teachers Association. STEM is an interdisciplinary approach to learning where rigorous academic concepts are coupled with real-world lessons as students apply science, technology, engineering, and mathematics in contexts that make connections between school, community, work, and the global enterprise, enabling the development of STEM literacy and with it the ability to compete in a new economy. As you can see, incorporating STEM into schools is more than just having classes that focus on the discrete parts. Instead, It is a way for students to make connections, and not just across classrooms, but to the world beyond the school walls. Similarly, STEM careers do not live singularly within one of the four main disciplines of STEM. Rather, STEM careers cut across the domains, with students needing knowledge and skills in multiple areas to be successful. Take 1 minute here to pause the video and examine the graphic. Identify a few careers that you know are of high interest to your students, and notice the intersection of knowledge and skills needed for that career. After you've reviewed the graphic, resume the video. While career access and readiness is not the sole reason for incorporating STEM into schools, it is important to understand the opportunity that exists for students in future STEM careers. Let's take a look at some key statistics about the STEM job market. All occupations are expected to increase 7.7% by 2030, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Non-STEM occupations will increase 7.5%, while STEM occupations will likely increase 10.5%. Only 20% of high school grads were ready for the rigors of STEM majors. And over the previous 15 years, the U.S. had only produced 10% of the world's science and engineering grads. The median annual wage for all occupations is $41,950. Those in non-STEM occupations earn, on average, $40,020, while those in STEM occupations earn $89,780. As we've heard before, STEM career opportunities for all students will continue to grow and can provide a solid financial foundation to build from after graduation. Of course, we know that not all students will be interested in pursuing a STEM career, and that's great. Our communities are made up of members with a diverse range of interests, passions, and areas of expertise. In fact, incorporating STEM into our schools isn't just about the future labor market at all. Instead, it's about building skills that are critical for all students, regardless of their future ambitions. When students engage in STEM learning, they grow in these areas. Engaging in STEM promotes problem solving, encourages creativity and innovation, enhances critical thinking, and improves students' practical application of knowledge. Thus, we can see how STEM is meaningful and beneficial for all students and supports success across content areas. In this session, we're encouraging you to consider what STEM looks like in your school now and how you'd like to grow access to STEM in your school. Participating in STEM.LD is one way to do that. Now let's watch this video, which highlights some of the ways that STEM.LD schools have been bringing these opportunities to students in our region. As you watch the video, consider what STEM looks like in your school. When the video is over, I'll share instructions for a brief reflection.
The STEM.LD project proposes to improve STEM culture in grades 6 through 12 in Northeast Tennessee, in rural areas primarily. We offer professional learning for teachers, outside of school time activities for students, including camps, clubs, and competitions, and advanced coursework for students in grades 6 through 12. The challenges in Northeast Tennessee are primarily due to distance and remote locations. So when you have small schools, students don't have access to advanced coursework. There's just not the resources to provide that. They also are removed from certain out-of-school time activities. So the grant provides these for students either in person or virtually.
There are excellent science teachers across Northeast Tennessee. What we found is that teachers are often lacking access to high-quality instructional materials. TNTP's mission is to end the injustice of educational inequality by ensuring that every student has access to an excellent teacher and by promoting policies and practices that ensure great teaching happens everywhere.
Sulphur Springs Elementary School is located in Washington County, Tennessee, right outside of Jonesboro. We are a K through 8 school, and we have around 370 students. Our partnership with ETSU has provided support for the process of change throughout our building to better align our opportunities opportunities with a new vision statement. With that, we've developed a STEM CTE lab that our students have access to things that they otherwise would not have that align with K through 12 connections. Our STEM CTE lab is a space where students are allowed to experience different programs of study that they'll later on experience in high school within CTE elective focus areas. So our students do rotations and they get to experience different programs of study like electricity or hydroponics for agriculture or health science or vector robotics or 3D printing. And it is a surface area look into what that program of study is, because we want for our students to be better prepared for transitioning to high school.
STEM.LD, the thing about it is it just gives us our identity, like academic-wise, and it gives us a vision for what we want to be in the future. And it's certainly helped me with what I want to be, because without obviously academics and the STEM.LD program, I wouldn't know what an aeronaut question it was.
STEM.LD has really helped me, be a leader of like the community and the school, and it's really helped me experience all of these different jobs and thinking about what I could be when I grow up, and so it's really helped me focus on my interests and expand on those.
STEM.LD as a whole has helped our school become way more STEM oriented, and we made so many good changes that are helping every student here.
Volunteer High School chose StreamWorks as a partner because they are providing a lot of opportunities in this area for our students that they otherwise wouldn't really be able to participate in. STEM.LD really helped us to start our robotics club because it let us actually receive some of the funding towards it. All of the funding either comes from STEM.LD or from fundraising, and because students are also working full-time jobs, they're also full-time students aside from being in robotics, there's not necessarily a ton of time for fundraising outside of that. So STEM.LD really helps to provide and get us the resources that we need in order to compete.
Being a part of the robotics team, it's really given a chance to have more involvement with the school. It's impacted me really being able to learn how certain things work, and especially going to some of the competitions, being able to see how some of the kids react.
East Tennessee State University is an institution that is focused on a student-centered learning community. We value people first. Our investment through research and scholarship and teaching is to make a difference in our region, and our partnerships with the schools to impact practice in a P20 lens, from preschool all the way to college career placement.
One of the most powerful changes that we've seen is increased collaboration across the region. Teachers have been able to meet and learn from their peers outside of their school and beyond their district.
STEM.LD meets the challenges of rural locations by providing opportunities for students, both inside and outside the classroom. And we've actually seen some schools incorporate these activities into their schedules, which means that the opportunities will outlast the grant.
Our role in the STEM.LD grant is specific to school culture and climate. As an ed leadership department, we have the opportunity to coach and to train principals in this partnership. The STEM.LD culture does not happen without intention and coaching, so we work to support principals with training and then the implementation process of bringing those ideas of who we are to life in the schools and communities.
We do think that STEM.LD has really impacted the culture at our school, especially in terms of the other teachers. We feel like other teachers have sort of taken notice that we are having this success, that there are students that are interested in these other things. We now are offering expanded engineering classes. There's a lot of overlap between the robotics team and the engineering classes.
I know that it's going to be really hard to achieve my goals with that, but I know that STEM.LD will definitely help me with that and help me push through.
Now, take 2 minutes to pause the video and reflect on what STEM looks like in your school. Think about what opportunities your students have to engage in STEM within and beyond core instruction. After 2 minutes of reflection, resume the video. Now that you've heard a little bit about what STEM is and why we think it matters for students, we'll move forward and we'll ask you to think about your answer to that question as well. To help you consider your why for STEM, we invite you now to engage in this 5 Whys protocol. Using the 5 Whys activity helps leaders to think deeply and uncover underlying motivations. Let's look at an example on the right. We'll start with the question or problem that many of us may have considered in our own lives, which is, why do I spend so much time on my phone? I'll begin by asking why for the first time, and then answer that question. So, why do I spend so much time on my phone? And the first answer is that because I find myself mindlessly scrolling through social media repeatedly. Why do I do that? Because I use social media to pass the time or avoid tasks I don't want to do. Why do I do that? Because I feel overwhelmed by my responsibilities and seek distraction. Why? Because I have difficulty balancing work with my personal life, leading to a desire to escape reality. Why? Perhaps because I haven't used my time management skills to prioritize my tasks effectively. Ultimately, I end up with an answer that's more meaningful and actionable than when I started. We'd like you to engage in the same activity of the 5 Whys, but within the context of STEM.LD. On your paper, write down on the first line, why is my school participating in STEM.LD? On the next line, answer that question. It's okay if your first answer is something like, because it's a requirement of our district. Be honest in your answers. Repeat this process until you've answered why 5 times. Pause the video here to complete this activity. When you are finished and you have your final statement, return to the video. In completing the 5 Whys, you have hopefully found a succinct, meaningful reason for why STEM is important for your school community. As we move forward with this session and thinking about how to craft your vision for STEM, the final why of this activity should help you understand your why in doing this. With our why in mind, let's move on now to begin crafting our visions for STEM. You've no doubt thought about crafting a vision before, in other arenas within your school. Here's what research and best practice shows us. A great vision serves as a compass, giving us direction. It supports every staff member in knowing where we are going. A great vision serves as a yardstick to measure progress and redirect as needed. A great vision serves as a clock. It helps our teams consider how they spend their precious time in the most effective way in alignment with our goals. And a great vision serves to unite us. It gives us a common language and map for celebrating milestones as we hit them. What does a great vision statement look like? Let's consider a few criteria. A great vision statement is ambitious. Your vision should be a challenge that your team must strive to achieve. A great vision statement is feasible. Keep your vision statement within the realm of feasibility. Not easy, but not impossible. A great vision statement is broad. All of your company's goals should fit under the wider umbrella of your overall vision. And a great vision statement is strategic. It describes an ideal future that's relevant to your company and makes sense as part of your school's identity. Here's a sample STEM vision statement from Walker Valley High School. Read along with me. STEM develops a set of thinking, reasoning, teamwork, investigative, and creative skills that students can use in all areas of their lives. STEM isn't just a standalone class. It is a way of intentionally incorporating different subjects across an existing curriculum. The STEM Academy at Walker Valley is dedicated to inspiring students to realize their potential for success in STEM careers by supporting their exploration of STEM-related fields, encouraging the development of 21st century skills and industry certifications, and providing them with the tools to be successful in post-secondary education. Pause the video and reread this vision and mission statement. Consider how this vision statement meets the criteria of a great vision, i.e., ambitious, feasible, broad, and strategic. As you heard in our definition of STEM and saw in Walker Valley's vision statement, a strong STEM program goes beyond just what happens in the classroom. A strong STEM program gives students an opportunity to do these 4 things, which include but are not limited to classroom instruction. These 4 components are thoroughly explore STEM career options, academically achieve in STEM classes, effectively plan for STEM careers, and personally grow in necessary STEM skills. In your resource folder, you'll find a copy of this framework. We invite you to pause the video and access the framework before moving on further. Since each of these 4 components of a strong STEM program should be included in your vision, let's quickly define each one now. The first is explore thoroughly. Explore thoroughly means that students take advantage of course offerings and extracurricular opportunities to explore areas of interest and gain exposure to inform a post-secondary course of study and/or potential career pathways. Some examples of programs that you might have in your school that support students in exploring thoroughly is U Science or Learning Blade. Consider for a few moments what opportunities kids in your school have to explore thoroughly. The second component is achieve academically. Achieve academically means that students succeed in courses rigorous enough to prepare students to be successful in freshman-level college courses and/or industry certification or other career-specific credentials. Included in Achieve Academically is the idea that students need to have access to strong, rigorous instruction every day and have the opportunity to access advanced coursework. Consider what Achieve Academically looks like in your school. The third component is Plan Effectively. Plan effectively means that students work with counselors or advisors to create a plan for after graduation. Some examples of programs you might already have in place at your school for planning effectively include Nicewanger Care or Advise Tennessee. Consider for a few moments what Plan Effectively looks like in your school. The final component is Grow Personally. Students grow personally when they understand and deepen the practice of non-academic behaviors and mindsets necessary to be successful in post-secondary and STEM career pathways. Growing personally includes the development of what has traditionally been called soft skills, but what we refer to as durable skills. Consider for a few moments what opportunities students have to develop and grow personally within your school. Returning to the Walker Valley High School Vision Statement, let's look to see how these 4 components of a strong STEM program are evident within the vision statement. Within this vision statement, we've highlighted opportunities for students to explore careers, achieve academically, plan effectively, and grow personally. These are all highlighted within the vision statement itself. In your resource folder, we've included several other STEM vision statements. We invite you now to review these statements in preparation for writing your own. Take the next 10 minutes to read these statements and make note of words and phrases that stand out to you. Pause the video here, and after you've reviewed and reflected on these sample vision statements, resume the video. At this point, you've thought about your why, you've learned about the components of a strong STEM program, and you've reviewed sample STEM vision statements from other schools. We'd like you to begin writing your own vision statement for STEM using the resources and activities we've engaged with during the session. Take the next 10 minutes to begin writing your STEM vision statement. As you saw in the samples, this can be as brief as just a few sentences that clarifies why STEM matters for your students and the experiences that you desire for them to have. Pause the video here to work on your draft vision statement. When you're ready, return here to resume the video. Great work on your vision statement. Let's summarize where we've been and identify where we're going next. The next step after drafting your vision statement is to begin building consensus and understanding with your stakeholders. We recommend that you take the following next steps. First, meet with the leadership team. Determine who will communicate the purpose of STEM to your teachers and who will work to directly support teachers. Next, Meet with your teachers. Communicate your why of why you joined STEM.LD and the what of what the partnership will include. Step 3. Discuss specifics of STEM.LD supports. Provide specific information and an opportunity to support teachers in the partnerships. And step 4. Share with students. Make sure students and families are aware of opportunities available to them through STEM.LD. Before we close, take 2 minutes to write down for yourself what your next steps are as it relates to developing your vision for STEM. Pause the video here. When you're ready, resume the video. Grounded in your vision for STEM, the next leader training session will focus in on one component of a strong STEM program, and that is achieving academically. In this session, you'll explore instructional leadership specifically through the lens of strong instruction in math and science. This next session is also designed to take about 90 minutes to complete. You're welcome to click along to begin the next session now or return to it at another time. Before closing this video, please take a minute to complete the attendance survey using the QR code or web address shown on the screen. Once you've completed the survey, you will receive a confirmation email with the name and the length of the session. Additionally, for questions on developing a STEM vision or support with your STEM program, please contact Elizabeth Nagley at elizabeth.nagley@tntp.org. Thank you for completing this training.